Good evening, and I want to welcome everyone to the Owwll Podcast Mentorship Monday. I'm joined here tonight with my two amazing hosts. I have Domenica here to my right. Say hi, Domenica.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Mentorship Monday.
And to my left, I have Adam Stallmock of Bloom Growth. He's a business entrepreneur. And before I say anything else about him, I'm just going to let him speak for himself. Adam, why don't you tell everybody out there who you are and, just give them your 2 or 3 minute Adam pitch.
Absolutely. First off, thank you both so much for having me. Really excited for everyone tuning in. Thank you for taking time out of your day. My goal here is to provide as much value to you as humanly possible. So a little bit of background on me. I started my career in the restaurant industry. You name it, I did it. Dishwasher, server, bartender, busser, everything except for management, because management didn't pay enough for the hours that you work. Afterwards, I found a career in sales, door-to-door knocks, kind of getting out of the mud, bootstraps. Yeah, the rough lifestyle.
That's the real deal.
It was very, I guess, significant learning experience for me. Then I got into the world of phone sales, which is a totally different breed in office. And I kind of thought I wanted, that office job where you take the elevator to the 18th floor, get the city view. I hated it. You might think that you want something until you actually get it. And then I was lucky enough to stumble upon Bloom Growth, and I had no idea what this company did until I got the job. And I learned about business operating systems, how businesses are supposed to function. And now here we are. So I've been with that company for about 2 years now.
Well, tell us a little bit about Bloom Growth. When we were talking earlier in the other room, you were sharing with me a little bit about some other, what do they call, like operating systems, like the EOS and a few others out there. So tell me, what is Bloom Growth in contrast to the other ones out there? Like, what does Bloom Growth have going on? Why should people, be interested in this?
Absolutely. Great question. So Bloom Growth is an operating system that is backed by a software. We do have a few other competitors out there, EOS, Pinnacle, Scaling Up. What these systems are is you want to make sure that your organization is a well-oiled machine, right? Who's doing what, by when, have some sort of structure. And ultimately, our goal is to bring the business plan to fruition. So we provide the building blocks to, make sure that each component of the organization is working in sync. And then the software is just the cherry on top to help you track, help you maintain, and help you ultimately grow. So we're not selling a software. We're selling the methodology behind it. The software is just the cherry on top.
Fantastic. And who would you say this is more for? Like startups, mid-size, large scale, what size businesses?
Yeah, great question. So our sweet spot is companies 10 to 250 employees doing a minimum of $1 million a year. Now, that's not to say that we don't have, clients that are just two-person operations. You might have a real estate agent with just their marketing director, and they're just growing and scaling. A few of our clients as well. I mean, Duracell, Crocs, Ben & Jerry's.
Wow.
So
Ben & Jerry's.
Ben & Jerry's.
Ben & Jerry's is on Bloom Growth. Say no more.
That's right. Exactly. So
world's best ice cream.
That's right. That's right. So we do tailor to our clients' needs, and whether you're in the growth stage, we're there to help, right? If you are a startup, I would recommend starting with Bloom versus attempting to go into business and then 3 years down the line, then you come across it, because then you kind of get stuck in your ways. You have to retrain employees on a different mind frame, different methodology. It just becomes more of an uphill battle that way. But ultimately, no matter where you're at, Bloom Growth can meet you. And ultimately, we want to get you to the position where if you want to nurture and then, sell the company or get acquired, you're more than welcome to do that as well.
Wow. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. It's funny because out there in the business world today, we're familiar, some of us are familiar with some of the other operating systems out there, but it always amazes me to hear about new ones that are out there. Because I'll share real quick as an entrepreneurial journey is in the earlier days when I had my last companies, we ended up using one with my last one towards the end, but up until that system approached me, which what I'm going to add here is for your industry, for what you do, you're totally green lighted, in my opinion,
Thank you.
to hit the phones and start calling,
Yeah.
businesses to let them know you exist. You are not a
Yep.
nuisance call. You're a real call, because here's the thing. I didn't know any of this existed until it showed up. I figured, I went to college, I took my accounting courses, I read 150,000 business books,
Right.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad, guerrilla marketing, blah, blah, and put it all together myself.
Yep.
But to be able to just kind of like show up and a
Yeah.
little box with a bow on the top, and maybe there's a mint on there, and you just take it off,
Yeah.
and bam, it's all in one shit. Do you give them a mint?
So two mints
Okay.
actually. Yeah, 2
Thanks.
mints. Yeah. But no, you literally took the words out of my mouth. This is a complete game changer for business owners and entrepreneurs, because again, as cliche as it sounds, we don't know what we don't know, right? And you can read all of the books as you just mentioned, but until you get introduced to an actual operating system, your phone has an operating system, your computer has an operating system, your business should have one as well. And so EOS, we actually worked with them directly. So we were the first software on market for business owners. So we had a partnership with EOS. We used to be known as Traction Tools.
I've heard of you as Traction Tools.
So that's what
that was your company. Okay,
Correct.
got it.
Yeah, yep. So we had an agreement with EOS to provide them the software. Once that agreement was fulfilled, EOS decided to make their own software. We rebranded to Bloom Growth, and the rest is history. So, yep.
Interesting. Well, tell us, what are some of the challenges being in this space? You got to have some. Everyone has
There's
them.
only one challenge, and that is anywhere I go, whether it's a networking event or some kind of business gathering, conference, whatever it may be, and I try to describe what it is, and I say, operating system, and someone says, oh, that's kind of like EOS, right? Well, no, not really, because we're becoming the new standard in operating systems.
Yeah.
And this isn't to badmouth anyone or anything like that, but that methodology over a decade.
Yeah.
And we are in the digital age with AI approaching and things like that. So it's important to kind of take a step back and say, okay, where do we plan to be in 5 to 10 years, right? So 2025 is going to be a very exciting year for Bloom Growth. And what sets us apart is that, number one, the more users that you have on the software, the cheaper it gets, number one. But number two, and in my opinion, this is the largest differentiating factor, is whether you are on EOS or Scaling Up or Pinnacle or any other growth methodology, Bloom Growth can help assist with that. So you can change your verbiage, you can use rocks, you can use any OS that you want with Bloom Growth. Now, if you try to do that with EOS, you're kind of locked in. You got to use their verbiage, scorecard, rocks, things like that. So
those are some challenges. I definitely see those. Now, here's the thing: like when we're talking about, like even operating systems, like what we're specifically speaking about right now, there's, I don't want to say this, like there's a different shoe for every foot, so to speak.
Yeah.
So some businesses, it's like, look at it this way, like in the world of martial arts, you have Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you have Kung Fu, you have karate, you have judo, they're all different. And for some people, they resonate.
Right.
So your particular, have you guys, and I'm not asking you to share your secrets here, but within your organization and your company, or even you individually out there on the road, have you gotten ultra clear as to knowing how to really identify the ones your system is going to resonate with? Like almost like preemptively going, that person's going to give me the EOS thing again.
Yeah.
No, that's scaling up. But you're Bloom Growth all day long.
So that is a phenomenal question. And that is currently being optimized as we speak, day by day, for every event that I go to. And the reason for that being is, when we go to events, for instance, we were at one in Fort Lauderdale not too long ago, and everyone has a name tag, right? And my approach has been, in the past, when I first got into that world, it was, so-and-so working at IBM or Cisco or Apple, all these large companies. I stopped approaching these people because I don't care what large company you work for, what's your title, right? If I need to speak with you for 10 minutes and your time is valuable as is mine, and then I find out after we speak for 30 minutes, an hour, that you're not the decision maker, and now I have to jump through 10 other hoops, no thank you. So when I go to networking events, I'm chasing after the name tag that says CEO, founder, owner. That's the decision maker. That's the one holding the pocketbook. And then that's ultimately the one who, in most cases, is most invested into that company, and they're the ones taking the highest risk, right? So whoever is going to be the largest shareholder, that's the person I want to speak with. And that's ultimately the approach now. But to answer your question, what is that perfect fit? It's going to be anyone in business, because people will not admit to their setbacks, right? So if I was to approach you and say, hey, what's the biggest struggle in your company right now? If I don't know you, you're likely gonna say, "Oh, nothing. Everything's fine. Da, 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 da. We're clear."
No, we're falling apart at the pieces. Hold on, let me put on the camera. Everything's on fire. Wait, is that what's going? Did somebody just drive through the front door?
Right.
Wait, what was your question again?
Yeah, exactly. So what I do is I want to build those relationships and build that trust initially. Kind of share a little bit more about what we do, but not ultimately say, hey, I can help with this, I can help with that, I can help. You might not even want my help first. You probably don't even trust me enough to even receive my help right now. So let me prove myself, whether that's through showing you demos, answering questions, maybe doing some legwork for free. I'm a huge fan of the Gary Vaynerchuk saying jab, 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 right hook, right? Give, then ask. Right, versus ask off the gate. That's what the sleazy car salesman's reputation came from.
Did you read that book?
Which one? Jab. Yep.
Yeah,
Actually, every book that we listed here so far, the Rich Dad Poor Dad, Guerrilla Marketing,
all
that one,
ones.
all on my bookshelf right now. Yep.
I heard somewhere somebody a question if people read books anymore.
I've heard that too. And it's surprising to hear the number of people that don't. So I think it's more than half of the population don't ever read a book after high school or college, which is insane, right? Because you're taking somebody's life story and everything that they've been through. It's like reading their diary, and you're going to learn the best advice and the best of their mistakes, so you don't commit them. Right?
No, absolutely. And it's so easy to get access to the information. The information is out there. And, Domenica, to your point, it's very easy to tell the reader from the non-reader.
Yeah.
It's who can you hold the conversation with and who can't you.
100%.
And so right now it's so easy to get information, not even just on your phone and, online, but getting a library card is free. Downloading Hoopla is free. You don't even need Audible. You don't need a membership. If you can't afford $25, $30 for a book at Barnes & Noble, go to your local thrift shop. For 50 cents a pop or $1 a pop, you can get some awesome books that oftentimes are signed by the author, or you might find a boarding pass in there from 1997. There's history with these books. That's one of my favorite parts about going to the thrift shop versus a Barnes & Noble. So
interesting. I've never heard that idea before, guys. If you know anyone that's struggling with books, you just heard it right here. Scrounge out 2 quarters out of your couch and run down to your local Salvation Army, and baby, you never know, you might find a 1979 TWA.
That's right.
Airline ticket. About bringing some history. But one thing I was going to mention earlier that you were talking about, and I think it's a lot of listeners out there want to hear more about this, maybe not, but I think they do, is you're talking a little bit about sales, a little bit about connection, a little bit about getting out there and meeting people. And one thing I've always found is when you're around in these situations, in these scenarios, and again, this is tying into exactly what I do as a performance strategist, is it's all about, it's your mindset.
100%.
When you're going in there, if you're going in there saying, hey, who can I help? And then here's the reality. There's some people you can't help. There's some people that don't want to be helped.
Yep.
And part of, when you hear people talking about outside sales and, making connections and stuff, you hear a lot of conversation about how difficult it is, when in fact, I'm going to turn this around on its head and really just put the magnifying glass more on the individual. So when you know why you're there, you know what you're there to do, you're clear on the value that you bring, and you pace the conversation accordingly.
Absolutely.
It doesn't have to be a long drawn out process.
Yeah.
Because ultimately I can tell you this, as a business, someone who's, started, built, and sold 3 companies, this is a reality that most will not tell you out there.
Yeah.
They all carry it though. Anytime, like when I had my last company, if I was out and about, it did not matter if I was at a networking event, which I never went to, but if I was, or a trade show, or I could be at the beach. Every business owner across the board, every executive across the board, I'm going to say everybody across the board has problems and issues. And to your point, they're not going to just sit there and advertise them, but they all have them. Here's the thing. If you're on a path of growth, you're on a path of moving forward. You're growing your business, you're growing your career, whatever you're trying to move forward. If the answer to one of your problems is standing right there in front of you, guess what? The one that's going to continue to rise is going to drop the games, drop the BS,
Yep.
and they're going to open their eyes and say, let's have a conversation.
Yeah.
Let's talk. Let's talk now and see if you have the answer to my situation. What is this? What's this OS thing? What's this? Wait, it organizes my business.
Right.
Hold on. I have Patty in accounting who's, getting wooed by the competition. I have the guy in my warehouse who's going to leave tomorrow.
Right.
He's the only one that knows how to do the inventory on QuickBooks.
Yeah.
And then I have, I don't know, accounts receivable those haven't been reconciled in, 3 months.
Yeah.
You have a system that can bring it all together where I can get a dashboard, look at my KPIs, like I'm driving a car, flying a jet.
Yeah.
Bam. Now you got a conversation.
Right.
Hey, what operating system are you using? If I was in your shoes talking to these people, hey, just like curiosity, and they'd be like, what are you talking about? I don't know what an operating
That's a good one.
You don't know what an operating system is? Wait, how long have you been in business for? Or wait, stop. Have you ever heard of AI?
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. And, to your point, how you mentioned, if someone is on that, and again, everyone does have problems. It's just to what magnitude?
Yeah.
It's called the human condition, right? So everyone's going through something that we don't know about. And, when you mentioned if someone is on that growth trajectory and, attempting to change their habits, taking a look in the mirror, being authentic with themselves, that is what I call accountability, right? Now, you can have self-accountability, but are you going to have accountability with your team? Who's doing what?
Yeah.
By when? What's our deadline? What are our quarterly priorities, annual priorities, right? How are we going to get to that BHAG? So accountability is number one. And ensuring that everyone is rowing in the same direction, that everyone shares the same company vision and values. And what we find is that when someone does come on board with Bloom Growth, you want to ensure that the right person is in the right seat, right? You don't want to have an introvert in an extroverted role. Someone who should be client facing is, doing the QuickBooks, they're going to hate their job.
Yeah.
And so the first year of working with one of our coaches, it's ensuring that the right person is in the right seat. We're not even doing open heart surgery on the business plan yet. We want to make sure that the right people are within the organization. That's year 1, 12 months.
By the way, what are you using for that? Like the disc profile, Colby? What is it? There's another one called PI.
Yeah, so we use several different ones. I mean, we don't use them internally with our clients. Whatever the client wants to do, that's up to them. But we want to ensure that we are putting people in place who share those company values, right? So two of ours is we love helping, find a way to win, right? So if someone is in the organization and, their answer to everything is no, hey, can you? No, hey, can you? No, they likely don't like to help, right? So making sure, and this needs to be implemented in the hiring process, not after they, get on board and you attempt to, teach a old dog new tricks. The people are out there, the talent is out there. How are you finding them? So another thing I'd like to add really quickly is that the Bloom Growth software, not only does it work with businesses, but I use it on a day-to-day basis for my personal week.
So use it personally speaking.
Correct. Personally and professionally.
So on that level, for people listening, could you compare that to like a Monday or like what?
Yeah. So, we get compared to Monday.com, ClickUp, Notion, all these things.
Okay.
And although those are great task management softwares and kind of staying organized and, to-do lists and things like that, we really do want to amplify the meeting experience, right? So if you do have, your L10 meeting with your leadership team every week, what is being discussed? Is the needle getting moved forward for the organization? Are we discussing the same thing week after week after week, or are we getting somewhere? So, great question.
Very, very cool. Wow, this is a lot to unpack here.
Yeah.
It really is. And at the end of the day, I think every business that is going to be competing, 2025 into the future. Like, again, this is just something to think about. And I'm not even really like bringing coaching or anything like that into the equation, except just speaking hardcore facts and reality. Nowadays, with technology and the way everything's changing and evolving, all right, it's the growth and development has changed. And there's some very talented people out there, extremely talented people who are amazing at what they do. But then you also have extremely talented people who are amazing at what they do, who are embracing things like Bloom Growth, okay, to manage their business. Let's take two businesses, take the same businesses, side by side. They're doing the same revenue in 2024, same profit margin, same company size, same everything, except this business decides to bring in his software for better organization. And that's just only one variable out of the equation I'm changing here. Who would you invest money in?
Right.
No brainer. It really is a no brainer. I'm going to add to that too while I'm making this comparison here, or just to show you the difference here, contrast, is say this business now throws AI and hires an AI expert.
Yep.
Who would you invest in?
Most definitely. I mean, it's like driving a car and walking,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
It's a great way to put it.
So who's going to get to the destination faster?
Right.
100%. And for all the people sitting out there saying like, wait a second, I don't need this, I don't blah, blah, and you're making excuses. Guess what? Life is not fair. This is reality. This is reality of the world where it's going. It doesn't matter what your opinion is or what you might think of something. What matters is what is actually happening.
Right.
And right now in business, on all sizes and all levels, you are seeing a divide like no tomorrow.
It's happening so quickly.
It's super fast. It's like I talk to business people all the time, and some of them are just not, we've been doing it our way for 20 years, 30 years, family business. We're not changing a thing. And I'm sitting there and I'm saying to myself, I'm like, don't you understand? You told me 3 seconds ago, you're trying to build a legacy.
Yep.
If you're trying to build a legacy, your competition has Bloom Growth. Your competition is working with an AI expert. Your competition has coaching to support them for the challenging times and strategize performance.
Yep.
You can't compete. You just can't compete against that.
And those companies who do not implement those things that have been in business for a decade or two, they will get bought out for pennies on the dollar when it's time to retire.
And what you have is going to work until it doesn't.
Right.
And there will always be a stopping point. And most people don't see that.
Yep.
Well, and sometimes too, by the time people wake up and say, oh my gosh, I need this, it's too late. It's too far down the road. Yeah. Imagine if all three of us right now woke up, and I'm not saying it's impossible, but say we wanted to compete with Elon Musk on SpaceX. Good luck.
Yeah, right.
I'm not even trying. I'm just going to stick to my day job.
I'm not even trying.
But you know what? When I was a kid, back in the 80s, if that was a dream I had, then I would have had a chance. Yeah, right. I wouldn't, but no, it's too late. Ship sailed.
Yeah.
But the thing is too, I want to add on this as well. This is not just for like tech companies. This is not just for like medical device or, cutting edge. No, this is for like Bill and Bob's Home Improvement, where we have 14 locations across Florida and we go to your backyard and build sheds. I don't know. I'm making something up.
Yep.
If you are in business is a business. Call yourself whatever you want. You could be a sculptor. You could do sculpting on people's houses out of concrete or what am I trying to think? Marble. That's it.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the fancy stone. You'd be a marble sculptor, or you could build roofs. It doesn't matter. Sell cars. The point of the matter is if you're in business, systems run business.
Yes.
100%.
And as a human being, we can only handle so much. And nowadays, again, with the AI especially, people's workloads, you're able to deliver 10, 15 times faster nowadays than what you could do last year, 2 years ago.
Absolutely.
How are you psychologically programmed to be able to handle the extra weight? You're not.
Yeah.
You're going to, you might be able to carry it for a little while. Don't get me wrong. People are capable of doing incredible things for short periods of time. But what eventually ends up happening is the weight really starts to get heavy, and then you start to get resentful towards your business. You start to, it's just a slippery slope. So if you're watching this, I hope that whoever's, watching us speak here and talk about this subject, they're taking it serious, because, this podcast right here is slightly prophetic, because we can, all three of us and everyone watching us now can go back to it a year from now and say, wow, look at what those guys talked about.
And then we can come back and say, told you so.
Yeah, oh my God. That happens so
I don't really do that often, but it is here. We did talk.
Feels good. Yeah.
We tried telling you. Yeah.
I love what you said, though. Business is business. And the reason why I love that is, just to kind of tie it back to Bloom Growth, we are industry agnostic. So whether you're construction, tech, healthcare, whatever it may be, the software will work for you. And so we have an app as well to where if you do have construction guys out in the field and they do want to create an issue to discuss during their next meeting, boom, you create the issue on the go, you're discussing it during your meeting. So nothing is slipping through the cracks, right? Oh, well, what was that one thing that I was gonna, no, there's none of that. So full transparency, full open communication, departments can communicate with, amongst themselves. And yeah.
That's it. And I think a lot of it comes back to as well. One thing that bodes well for business owners, entrepreneurs, all types is just really reflecting, because when people are hesitant towards, at the very least, exploring what we're talking about here,
Right.
ask yourself why.
Yep.
If somebody looks me dead in the eyes and says, "Hey, Jeff, listen, I'm just gonna, let my business kind of, fade out, kind of like a campfire that I
Yep.
just don't add wood to, and I'm good with that." So be it. More power to you. At
Yeah.
least you're realized and you know what you're doing.
Yep.
But if you're sitting there saying, "Nope, we got all these great plans for growth, and we don't have money for this, or we don't have money for that, or money for that."
Right.
Well, if you don't have money for it, how are you going to solve the problem?
Right. And
Like-
yeah, I think that's a big part of it, but also buying back your time. You implement these systems to save you time
Mhm.
and delegate.
Yep.
So it's just like hiring another employee.
Yeah.
But how can I do it more efficient, faster,
Mhm.
and in the long run, it'd be an investment where I am saving money.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
Well, and you just brought up a huge point, is people that are, when somebody's more resistant to something like what we're talking about here, that's usually a reflection of their level of confidence and
Correct.
connection to their business. Somebody who's very clear about what direction they're going in, what they're doing, and, themselves, especially as, basically sailing the ship, the captains of the ship. They're going to be, you tell them at the end of the day, here's a system that's going to, save time, get your time back,
Mhm.
and ultimately add to your bottom line, increase, revenue, decrease expenses, because now you have all the information you need at your fingertips.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's talk.
Yeah.
AI. Let me show you how to take your business and, add 4 more employees, without adding them to payroll.
Yeah.
Can you be here yesterday?
Right, right. And I think people don't realize the magnitude of how fast things are changing.
Yep.
Because how many people in businesses are going to retire or going to be dead in the next 10 to 15 years?
Right.
Like there's a crazy amount of businesses owned by people who are going to die in the next
Yep.
10 to 15 years.
It's true.
And then take all the other people who are in business who aren't implementing
Right.
growth strategies, who aren't implementing AI, they're going to be gone. So I
100%.
think a huge percentage of the market is going to disappear in the next 10 years.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, to your point, in my opinion, those companies that don't implement, the new trends or new tools or whatever it may be, are closed-minded to the point where they're just so stuck in their ways. Again, they will be purchased for pennies on the dollar. You're going to get a open-minded visionary coming in saying, nope, out with the old, in with the new. And then the person who sold the company is gonna be like, oh man, I should have done that. Well, shoulda, coulda, woulda, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But also one thing that I find when I am running these demos, right? I mean, I don't do them as much as I used to, but the biggest hurdle I've seen with business owners for not implementing anything new, whether it's AI, Bloom Growth, another tool, this or that, is an unwillingness to go through the pain of the learning curve.
Yes, that is so big.
And they think it's going to take much longer than it's going to, when it's not going to take that long at all. That's why you have unlimited live trainings. You have the resources. If you're going to be a company like Bloom Growth and you do not provide the tools that your client needs to succeed, it's like, what are you doing, right?
Minor interruption.
Someone's coming in the room.
It's a party now.
Wait. All right. Well, all right. This is some great conversation we're having here, guys, and I think we should really bring someone else in. But before I do this, okay, before I make this call, everybody that's watching this, you need to download the Owwll app. If you're enjoying this conversation and enjoying what we're talking about, if you have an Android or even one of those iPhones, you can go ahead and download the app from the Play Store, from the Google Play Store or the Apple Play Store, whatever they call them. Is it the Apple Play Store?
I mean, I like it better than the App
Apple
Store,
Play
so
Store.
I'll
Oh,
take
yeah.
it.
Yeah, the Apple Play Store
Apple
sounds
Play
like
Store.
more fun.
It does sound.
If they run with that, I want my commission.
You
Right.
should get it. You should
Besides
get
that,
it.
another thing happened on the Owwll podcast today. We renamed the Apple Store to the Apple Play Store. That's what I'm
You
calling
heard
it.
it here live.
All right, so let's bring her on. And just before I do real fast, you can get a hold of Adam. You can get a hold of Domenica, and Jeff.
Hey guys, I mean, really, networking is your best business strategy, and
Yep.
this is a great way to do it. You can connect to people instantly in just seconds.
She's offline. She's not online. I have to sign something.
Oh.
Call someone else.
I thought you were asking me to call her. All right. We're going to find someone else here. Let's see.
Don't call her.
We're going to, I don't have my contacts in today. I can't see.
I didn't know you wore glasses.
I know, I
Jeff.
keep it
That's
a
just like
secret.
me. At least I'm not the only one who's going blind-eyed here.
I just got vulnerable in front of like 400 million people, 900 countries. This is streamed across. That's what Jason told me. I only thought there was 160 countries on Earth, but I heard news today.
What happened to the guy we saw earlier?
Oh,
Did he go offline?
I'll tell you about him later. All right, what do we got? All right, these are the active ones. Stephanie Paravani. How about, ooh, that one's expensive. Jason Hill. Should we call that guy? Who does he think he is? He charges $99.
$99. Jason, is anybody actually calling you for that much?
Wow.
I've always wondered.
I just want to call him and see what a $99 call feels like. Does that come in with a plane ticket?
No. You need to learn how to use it.
No, we're looking for someone. We're looking for someone.
Anyways, in the meantime,
Oh, okay.
The easiest way,
Show us.
I'm going to tell everyone. So the easiest way, if you're like, I want to talk to someone right now in the moment. So all you have to do, rather than trying to figure out who's live, who's not, you're on the screen, you scroll down to active owls. Active owls is
See that, guys?
everyone,
Active Owls.
everyone that's currently online. So now you hit view more and you get a list of all the people that are available that you could potentially call. So I say, I don't know what you guys have been talking about, but I think we should try to call Todd.
Yeah, I was thinking Todd
Um,
too.
Todd.
Because I know that he's local in the area. You know,
What a
Yeah,
great
go ahead,
last
call
name.
Todd.
Oh,
Todd.
that's-
I met him
yeah,
last
Todd.
week at a
I met
networking
him at a
event.
networking
actually.
event last
Yes. I'm telling you guys, networking events will change your life. That's how I met some of the most amazing people in my life.
Yeah.
Jeffrey included here.
That's awesome.
Thanks, Ellie. This is what we have to do to get you in here. We have to suffer. Is this Todd?
It's
Oh, I was just making sure she knows.
I'm having a blast right now. This is great.
Brand new, though.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's never used. Oh,
Here we go.
there he is.
Todd.
Is
Good
this
morning.
Todd?
Well, it's not even morning.
This is Todd trying to figure out what the hell is Owl.
Todd,
Welcome to the Owwll App.
it's Domenica. It's Jeff.
Jeff.
You're live on the Owwll podcast.
Oh, nice. No, I met Jason like a couple months ago, and then he was at the thing. I mean, Nash sent me a link and trying to figure out what it is, but I guess this is it. This is how it works. So
We're
I
s-
guess.
We're streaming you all across the world, Todd. Todd, you know who this is. You remember me.
yeah, we talked on Friday, buddy.
That's it. That's it.
I know you well. So yeah, I'm confused. How does it work? I mean, you pay to talk to people?
You
I'm
pay to
confused
talk.
how.
Instant
Pay to play.
networking. Yes, instant networking. You can call anybody you want for $1 or $99 sometimes, and instantly connect with whoever you like in whatever industry. And we have some really, really cool people on this app that could potentially or not.
Well, we're talking
could
to
change
Todd
your
right
life.
now, so
Or
there's
not.
say no more.
Yeah, Todd, me and you connected at a no, actually,
No, you
Somebody
didn't show
else.
up. You didn't show
I
up where I
didn't,
met Jeffrey, so we would have met, but we had a
yeah,
great
that's
awesome
true.
call.
That's true. But me
George,
and you,
George introduced us, right?
George, I
And then-
met George at a networking event, and that's how you and me ended up meeting. Yeah.
Mm.
Yes, we
Got
had,
it.
and you.
It seems
Gee,
like
hey.
everybody knows you, Todd.
Well, no, Domenica's unique. She's lived in Europe and Spain. She's international. She's done a lot. We had a great chat.
We sure did. We
Yeah.
still got to catch up, but we'll be in touch soon.
Well, Todd, we want to introduce you to our man here, Adam, who we've been interviewing for the past 30 minutes or so. We think you two should talk based on what you're doing and with what Adam is doing. Why don't you tell Adam a little bit about, who you are, what you do, and I'll let you two take it over.
Todd, how we doing?
Adam, good evening. Cheers from West Palm Beach.
Hey, neighbors. I love that.
Yeah, so now, well, I started on Wall Street 42 years ago, but today I'm the CEO of an online lottery company called Play Lotto Global, which is kind of what it sounds like. It allows 4 billion non-US citizens to enjoy their favorite lotteries online. I'm one. And then we do fractional ticketing. So you can play lotto for as little as 20 cents.
Nice.
And more importantly, anyone in the world, Americans can't play, but we've got a simple, easy QR code link system that anyone in the world actually can have a code free and simple. They expose it however they like. Everything's automated. People play. We track it. We give you a wallet. You put money in your wallet. So there's no involvement. There's no cost, no liabilities. And then the other mission was to give back. So we have a foundation here in Florida, a single foundation that I created. So basically that can support charity events or donate or both. And so that's the whole mission, was to help people make money, enjoy lotto, but help them earn some income and also give back. And we just do lotto. We don't do gambling. We don't do sports betting. We don't do casino, but we can help a lot of people enjoy lotto. And we're going to launch in about a month after a couple of years of work.
Congrats. That is awesome. I mean, I think launching now, going into 2025, what better time than now? So congratulations on that. One thing that you said that, yeah, absolutely. My pleasure. One thing that you said that I'm a huge fan and proponent of is we like to give back. Because when you give back, you get more in return, and the cycle continues. So I'm sure that it's going to be nothing short of an immense success. Why invest in crypto when you can just play the lotto? That sounds awesome.
Well, we accept crypto to play the lotto, just so you know.
There we go.
As one. And then our marketing phrase is lotto for good, means good for humanity.
Beautiful.
So while you enjoy lottery, you'll support good causes anyway. That's part of the model.
Gotcha.
But it's a crazy vertical. It's 300 billion going to $1 trillion.
Wow.
So it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, good is we're going to have a lot of fun, do a lot of good, sponsor a lot of events. That's the other part of the model. Any kind of event, technically.
Okay.
Besides the charity side. So when Geoffrey's being the head speaker at these big conferences and stuff, we'll be sponsoring him.
Oh, fantastic! That's awesome.
God, man, speaking to my heart.
Domenica's world. In Domenica's whole world, and she's a good example. We can kind of leverage a lot what she's doing, but when I say leverage, she doesn't. There's no money involved. It helps when there's no money involved. There's no selling, no real involvement to get a result.
Right.
That's kind of we all work hard to make $1.
Yep.
And then spend on $1 recurring. So, and I talked to Jason about this at the time we met at the event. At that time, he said they had 8 or 9,000 members, and I'm like, he says, why would I allow someone to market just that? I go, well, Jason, because this could help all 8,000 of your members for free, and more importantly, you'd get 8,000 royalties every day to your bottom line for free. as far as what we could do for Owwll, seriously, right? And but yeah, so now I understand a little better. I was a bit confused in what it was.
Well, Todd, quick question for you. What kind of operating system are you using with the lotto business? Like how's everything organized? What do you got going on there in the back end?
No, good. We got a couple great partners. So on the platform, which is the lotteries, coding. His name is Wojtek. He's from Poland, where I used to live.
My fellow Polish brother.
And I love Warsaw. It's one of my favorite cities and people.
Beautiful.
But he's been around lottery about 17 years, which is long. But online lottery, 10 years is very long. So he has a company that specializes in the platforms and like the fractional ticketing. And then for the whole QR code system, the tracking, the wallets, that's another partner, Fred, actually his son. They've been around MLM for 35 years. He sold 2 significant MLMs, and now just has Quick that does all the tracking. And then we have a partner that does the processing, as far as payments and systems. It depends which country you're in. But part of that, in the case of we do accept cryptos to play. We pay out in the wallet, usually in dollars or euros. So you got a few partners, but that's it. So when you launch, you got a team of like 6 or 7, all working from home, all online, virtually run, no limit to scale. And the profit margins are crazy. Our lowest margin for a single ticket, 150%, and the fractional ticketing is 800% margin.
Wow.
I am looking
So-
forward to those speaking engagements. Woo! Now knowing those numbers.
You heard it.
We'll
here.
we'll be sponsoring Geoffrey the tour. So it wasn't easy, but yeah, we're gonna finally get there. And we're close to my funding. Same thing's a bit unique. So I raised money for 35 years. It's in Europe, 25 years. So what I did for my investors, first over 3 years, none have ever been diluted. So if you know funding, that's a bit unique. But on the current last round, it's simple. It's a 2-year. I pay you to watch. I pay you 8% interest, but I also protect you for 2 years on a fixed conversion or not. But upon conversion, it's a Wyoming LOC, so you get automatic profit sharing. So bottom line is the
Wyoming.
investor.
It's a good
Wyoming's
place
good
to
for
set
tech,
up
by the
a
way.
LLC.
So wait, are you
So-
saying there's an opportunity for people that are listening right now, if they wanted to get in on this, they could potentially invest and have a piece of what you're doing here?
They have a chance. Yes, thank you. So it's the final opportunity because unlike most companies, once we launch, we don't need more capital because obviously high margins and low overhead. But I structured it so what they do is they do the loan note. I can do anything from 5,000 up to say 100. And basically, what happens is upon conversion, which is an option, they get the capital back. So you end up with ownership of the worldwide global business with no cost, no risk. You have your capital back, and then you have profit sharing every quarter, automatic forward. So it's definitely a unique structure when it comes to looking at deals.
Beautiful.
This is fascinating. I really think, just because I'm looking at the timer, that you two, literally, Todd, Adam, both you guys need to talk after this because
Happy to.
I think Adam can, bring some tremendous value to your business, at least at the very least, just talk about it. And I think vice versa, Todd, you can bring some value to
Thank you. Where do you live, Adam? Where do you live?
I live in Fort Lauderdale, but I was actually born in Krakow.
I've been to Krakow. I
Yeah.
lived in Warsaw for a year.
I love
Krakow,
it.
it's awesome. It's
Wish I
awesome
had
that
a
it's
board here to,
it's
like,
800
yeah.
years old, right? It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Oh yeah, the history there is just so impressive. I still have family that live in Warsaw, but yeah, I live in Fort Lauderdale. Happy to connect in any way, shape, or form. Add some value. Shoot the breeze, as they say.
So how do we do that? How do we first? So you got to tell
Owwll
me
App,
what you're
baby.
doing.
Owwll App.
Here.
Come on. You're
Only
both on
here.
the Owwll App. You got to use it.
So I got to get. How do I get his name? I
Um,
can't because I only see a clock that's ticking down to 24 seconds.
Adam's gonna find you. He's gonna get you. He's
All
gonna
right.
reach out. Just keep
Great.
the app open, keep it running, and yeah, we'll make sure you guys get in touch.
Well, it's a good omen. I didn't know what it was. I hit a button, and here we are. So
Here we are,
look
Todd.
at that.
you are
Your
my
favorite
first,
people.
My first call. Perfecto. Awesome. And
Awesome.
Domenica, we got to get together.
We
So
will
we'll-
get together.
Thanks,
I'll
Todd.
reach out to you soon. I promise. Well done.
I like that.
Ran out. Isn't that cool?
I like that.
Yeah,
Call
see
him
how
back,
that
call him back,
works?
Call him back. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we're gonna call someone now. Let's do it.
What a great last name, Poindexter.
All right.
Great
It
last
sounds very official. I like it.
Right.
It sounds regal too. Poindexter. Like you want to do business with
Yeah,
Poindexter.
this is the guy that I was telling you about that I met a couple of weeks ago. And
No kidding.
I was asking, I was like, do you know him? And you were like, no, but then you guys ended up meeting.
Well, I met him the other day. Yeah, I think
yeah,
it
I
was
was
like,
invited, but I couldn't come.
yeah, it's
That's awesome. As soon as he said that he was going to be sponsoring events, my ears, perked up. I was like, let's go to some events.
No, Todd's idea. He has a good business model. He showed it to me. It's he needs to roll it out, but it's definitely it's feasible. Let me see.
And the fact of how long he's been building it out.
Well, that's it. That's the thing that Todd's got. He's got experience. He's
Right.
he's been in many businesses, different types, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, the majority of his life has been spent in the world of finance.
Yeah, and the
So-
what's it called? I don't know, Wall Street.
Mhm.
But he's built like the Play Lotto model based on the same structure as Wall Street,
Yeah.
which is super interesting.
Yeah,
So it's like investing in stocks, but you're playing Lotto.
right. And he said that Americans are not allowed to play, right?
No,
I'm moving to Europe, guys.
Hey,
Yeah,
you
moving
still
to
have your dual citizenship,
I
don't
do.
you?
You're damn
There
right
you
I
go.
do.
We got those gambling laws
Exemptions
here.
here.
All right, so let's give Loyalty a call. I saw her. There she
I
is.
like that name.
Yeah,
It's a
right.
very good name. Everyone wants her as their friend.
For sure.
That's
for
right.
sure.
Okay, call. Hope I have enough credits. Whew. Someone's gonna tap out the bank.
Brother Geoffrey.
Look who it is.
Hey, my brother.
Hey, I got you going out to like 900,000 people in 175 countries.
Oh, wow.
You're
That
live
is
on the Owwll
amazing.
podcast.
Yeah, you're
Welcome.
flying high with the Owls on the Owwll podcast here.
Oh, wow. What the honor. What a pleasure.
Oh, it's amazing. Well, we have someone really special here that we want to connect you with. His name
Absolutely.
is Adam. Yeah, he's one of our guests, and he's doing some really amazing things. Really amazing things. And I would put words in his mouth, but I don't think that does it justice. So, Adam.
Well, nice to meet you, Adam.
Pleasure to meet you as well. Thank you so much for the warm welcome. We're excited to have this chat with you. Yeah, I feel very blessed to be on this podcast right now. We're having some
Absolutely.
awesome conversations, providing some value and learning things as we go. I'd like to learn more about you. What do you got going on?
So I do quite a bit. I have my own nonprofit organization. I'm here in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm a podcaster, so I'm a content creator. I do it all.
Nice.
I do it all, and also I'm a self-publishing author.
Ooh, nice.
Yes, I
Alright.
write
She's being
children's
so
books for the
humble.
youth.
She's being so humble. Come on. Tell him what you really do.
I do it all.
That's a
I can't even
superwoman
put a
over
cap
here.
on it. I can't put a cap on it, and I'm one of the #1 brand ambassadors right here on Owwll too. So
Oh, beautiful.
Holla.
Right. So tell
Yeah.
us a little bit about your self-published book. We would love to hear about that.
absolutely. So my first book I published is more for the adult audience. I would say it's called Loyalty and Everything: A Guide to Building Strong Relationships in Business and Life.
Ooh.
And don't we need relationships in both, right? And that's why
Amen.
a lot of people fail, because they want to do everything by themselves. And the more and more busy you get, you're going to realize you have to learn how to delegate things. So
Yes. Yes.
yes, I
Yeah.
created that guide to get them some tools. And this year on my anniversary, I actually created a workbook to parallel with it.
Nice.
However, my energy has been shifted to children books as well, because that's what my nonprofit is about. So all my children books that we sell, which I have 2 right now, those proceeds go back into the nonprofit so we continue to build our programs, our workshops, solution-based therapy, and all the above for our youth community.
I love that. Giving back to the children. There's always going to be a market for that. Always.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So going back to delegating and building relationships, and some people do very well in the business aspect, but do terrible in the relationship aspect. Some people do great in the relationship aspect, but terrible in the business aspect. So what is the gap between both? And why do some things transition over into other areas and some things don't?
Well, I feel like because people don't put business in front of relationships. So that's where boundaries come, right? You want to build relationships because that's what's important. That's what creates longevity. However, the grounds need to be set even from the beginning, So that way we can understand, like, what is the even exchange? If I'm not, like, even as one of my clients, they have to be able to see value in what I'm doing in order for them to continue to invest in what I have going on, right? So what I do is I bring them to Owwll. It's like the vetting process for myself, because I feel like this is just like us picking each other brain out for a few dollars. And if we can't figure it out on this level, then we can't elevate to the next level.
Boom.
So, yeah.
Love it. Love it. So, well, what is share with us a breakthrough or, a challenge that you were able to get over or overcome recently with what you're doing here? Everybody loves the inspiration.
Absolutely. So I didn't start out publishing my own book, which is, I had to hire someone. And sometimes it can be frustrating, especially when you, in the beginning, when you are a startup, nonprofit and things of that nature, you need to pretty much save as much money as you need to.
Yeah.
Well, I found a young man on the Owwll app who taught me how to self-publish.
On the Owwll app.
Here you go. The power of
Look
connections,
at
baby.
that.
That's it.
Oh my God. It's like going to a
Absolutely.
trade show from your phone.
Yeah.
Basically,
Yes.
Yep.
And also, I like my marketing person. Recently, I hired him on, and we met through Owwll. We didn't know each other prior to then, and he's local, so I like the fact that because I like to travel, and I've pulled up on Jason. I've met Jason in person. I've met my
Yeah, when you
friend
coming
Geoffrey,
down
my
here?
brother.
When you come?
Listen.
When you gonna visit us?
Podfest is coming soon, so hey.
Let's go.
Come on, loyalty.
Absolutely. So this is the power of this app. You can actually search for a city and state and find people locally that you can connect with.
I absolutely love that. It sounds like your entire business is being run through Owwll. Those connections are being made versus Upwork or hiring on Indeed or anything like that. I do like what you said, that you got to set those, not necessarily boundaries, but kind of how you use it as a vetting process. I think that's very important. Usually people will say, value, and all this stuff. And then, the conversation kind of dwindles down from there. What are the expectations? What do I have that I can offer you, and vice versa? I think that's crucial these days.
Absolutely. Not only that, it doesn't really cost them much because on the first introduction, most people don't know about Owwll yet, okay? Because it's word of mouth.
Yep.
So as you're introducing them to the app, you're gonna give them a referral code. That's gonna get them a $10 free startup bonus. It's a win-win.
Yeah.
It's not costing you anything to download it, and you're getting that free money just to try out the app.
Right.
So what I do with my clients is once I invite them, I also go ahead and schedule a follow-up appointment.
Beautiful.
When is going to be a good time for us to connect on the app once your app is already up and working?
Yeah.
Because that's where a lot of people lose people. You have to follow up, follow through. You can't just have one conversation. Follow-up is very important.
Yep.
It's funny because follow-up, I love that you're pointing that out, because follow-up honestly is the part where most people drop the ball.
100%.
Isn't that crazy that you're missing an opportunity just because you decided not to follow up, or you decided to follow up too late?
Yeah.
Half the work is already done. You already
Exactly.
met the person.
Yep.
Your paths collided. Now, just call them back.
Exactly.
Call them
Absolutely.
on the Owwll app.
We actually have
So first interaction, what I do is, for one, because they already want my services, okay? I don't have to sell my services. This is someone who's already interested in what I have going on. I don't give out my telephone number, for one. That's a great,
You almost use Owwll app for dating too, now that you mention it. You meet someone out and about, make them download the app, create a profile, and if you really like me, you'll pay $20 a minute to talk to me.
That is
That's
such
a
a
good
good
business
business
model.
model. Oh my God, we've cracked it
Listen.
out.
I just cracked it.
Golden.
I want my shares. I need shares of this company.
Tinder. What? Never heard of it.
Holy smokes.
I
You
love
want my
it.
number? You're going to show me how much our connection means to you.
You know
$100
Well,
a
listen,
minute.
download this if you want. If you want to date me, you need to download Owwll, okay? Put in my referral code,
That's really
loyalty,
the slogan
okay?
right there.
So that's a cheap date.
I
Your
love
first
that.
date is not going to be
Heck.
much, okay?
Right. It's better than the coffee date they're offering you. So hey,
There'll be money in your bank account by the end of the day.
Absolutely, I
They'll
love
pay
it.
for your coffee.
people are already wanting that, because just think about it. How many people, and I organize networking events all the time in person, how many women are already paying to go to networking events just to find a great date?
Right.
Oh my God.
Absolutely.
We got to stop this talk right now. I need Jason to sign some documents, because I think this app is about to go in a direction he never predicted.
Well, Geoffrey, now you see why I'm the #1 brand ambassador, because listen, I understood. This is not even an app, you all. It's a tool, okay?
Right.
This tool can parallel with whatever you do, no matter what your profession is, what your background is. Anyone can leverage and utilize Owwll for something that they're doing.
Welcome, Jason.
Yeah, look, we got the
Live.
founder,
I
the
got called in.
creator.
What's going on here?
Oh
I
man.
have a grand idea.
Jason.
We got to add a couple more minutes.
Oh,
for Cassandra. Here we go.
Oh, he's-
Unfortunately, Jeff's running out of
he's
money.
throwing some money on
We're
my.
gonna add
account. Look
5
at that.
more minutes. What's going on? What's the big
Thank
idea
you.
of the day?
Wow. I don't know. Should we tell him, guys?
Heard it from the other room. Heard everyone
Owwll
cheering.
App 2.0 coming soon.
3.0. We just launched 2.0.
3.0.
What
the
is
dating app.
what is this? What is
Owwll
this
App.
idea? Hold on. I want to hear the
Jason,
pitch. I want to hear the
Jason.
pitch.
Listen,
Give it
I
to
don't
me.
know if I don't know if
Give
you're
it to
ready, Jason.
Yeah, I don't
Go
know if
for
he's
it, go
ready
for it.
either. This is like this. This is a paradigm shift.
Remember,
Megan.
everyone's throwing a lot of ideas at us.
So,
It's just not
Jason, I
easy to
was telling him
switch.
how I
All right.
changed
So
it.
Ellie, for example, who popped her head in the room here.
Oh.
Can we get Ellie back in here, please?
Okay, keep talking.
She
Give
hear us?
us the pitch.
All
Give
right.
us the pitch.
So Ellie's at the social gathering. She's at the bar. She's at with her friends, and a guy wants to talk to her. He wants to, maybe follow up, but she doesn't want to give the guy her number. So she says, "You can call me on the Owwll app. Download it now, but it costs $20 a minute to talk to me." So she's going to know right away his level of commitment and sincerity in that very moment.
We already have tested this theory and it works.
It works.
So we've had people on Owwll download it and then put on their Tinder profile
Like $50.
that they cannot hear Ellie over here. She has no microphone. So if she needs to come on, she needs a microphone. But in
I
general-
love this idea.
I
This
do
is
too.
great.
I think you should
So
do it too.
So I have
If I was single, I would do it. Why
Honestly,
not?
you would, because
I
every
am
time
down
someone
for
downloads, you get a $10 referral bonus.
Right.
And then you'll see who's really
It's
taking you
money
serious. They'll call
flying.
you and
Right, they already getting a discount on the day.
and too many people are judging
Right.
everyone off photos. And if someone calls you and shoots their shot and has real charisma and character, then you're like, wait a second, this is actually
And they're
an
spending money.
individual.
And they're spending money towards you. Like if
Yeah.
you're dropping $100 to talk to you for 5 minutes,
Yes.
it's better than
Okay,
coffee.
Jeffrey, I'm about to get me a couple of dates to call me on.
So what we
Owwll.
So the problem is the
I am
complexity.
single.
The complexity of
All
building what you're
right.
saying is
You
really
heard it
hard.
here.
So imagine like a profile. There's just one button on your profile. I already thought about this, and it just says open to dating, right? And then there's a little dating
Oh.
button at the bottom
love
of
this.
Owwll,
I
and
love
then
this.
all the profiles are open to dating. It's a whole separate section, right? But the problem is the complexity and too many options. When you give people 20 food choices, they do nothing. So we have to be careful as a platform until we're larger, not to go ahead and add tons of different features onto the platform. So we're holding back. If someone wants a white label Owwll and go after this market, we're happy to provide Owwll and cut a deal. But no one's knocked on our door yet to
I
proceed
think
with that
Ellie and
vision and that
myself-
mission.
Ellie and myself can test it out for you. We'll be the first two ladies to test it out.
We
I'll
and-
test it out. But hey, hear me.
Yes.
Listen, how many people go to networking events just for dating is crazy.
Yeah.
It's about
so
at
true.
least 20 to
So true.
40% of attendees are women looking for a husband.
Look at
What?
that.
It's a networking event?
At
Oh
the
my
networking
God.
events, we call them miscellaneous.
And especially when women have to go to networking events for their company, why not make some extra money?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, it
A few
depends on the
phone
networking
conversations.
event.
Jason's just like, wow, this took a turn. You see, this is
Not
what
so
happens.
much.
Generating
What
money.
happens when you get on?
We've thought about. Remember, as an entrepreneur, you get a lot of things thrown at you, and
Right.
and you have to think on your feet, and you have to change the app frequently. But that's a major change on the platform. So I've thought about it, and a lot of people have come to me and
I
said,
don't
"Hey,
think
why
you
don't
need to
take
do
this?"
work. I just think you need to educate the people and say, hey, listen,
Yes,
you
could
want my
change-
number? No, download the Owwll app. I'm $10 a minute. Call me
Mhm.
through the Owwll app. And once
Everyone
we
could
develop
do it, yeah.
rapport, you don't need to change a thing.
We could test it
Well,
through her
it's
right
piece
now,
of the
right now this
diversity
evening.
of the app.
So put it on your Bumble profile, whatever
I don't
profile
have
you
any
have on dating.
Bumble.
I don't know.
I'm not
I'm
on
not
it.
in the dating scene. I'm married.
No,
To
but
your point.
But we're allowed to experiment for your app. You're doing
Yeah,
test marketing.
But I could
for
tell
your
you
app.
it works because we've had people that
You will get
I had
killed,
one
do
brand
not.
I'm
ambassador.
not saying for him to do it. But
We
no,
had a
we
brand
go out
ambassador
with
that
you
put it
and like,
on Tinder, and it absolutely worked.
Wow.
So I know I saw the downloads coming in.
Well, Bumble did something very similar.
Wow.
They did it kind of flipped around to where it started as a dating app, but now you have two
Bumble
other
Biz.
tiers.
Yeah,
Bumble
become your
Biz,
friend,
friends, and all that jazz.
I don't
It
know if I
works.
trust that though. I downloaded Bumble Biz, and there are some weirdos on there.
I believe
oh,
it.
total creepers. No, I will say,
Don't do it.
about a year ago, I was at a party and I was talking to some people, and this one girl, she was there with another girl, and they were best friends. And I asked them how they met, and they met on Bumble, like best friend app
Wow.
or something like that. I didn't even know you could do that.
The-
But they
the
were
Bumble
both
BFF
new to
is
Fort
good.
Lauderdale, huh?
I'll say the Bumble BFF is good. I've tried Bumble.
Yeah.
I still have my two friends.
Well, and also if you are going to charge for it, the caliber of people that you're going to find is going to be higher because again,
Yes.
that's someone investing in you.
Absolutely.
Commitment.
And on top of that, going back to what we said about the follow-up, there's a very popular saying in sales, the fortune is in the follow-up. And it's very true.
So before I call, hang up, right? If you all want to date loyalty, okay?
She's
And y'all
single.
can check out my profile
Woo!
on Owwll. You must call me on the Owwll app.
Yeah, that's it. That's her new number.
Period.
And you're getting great dates because they're all professional entrepreneurs, business minded.
Yeah,
people.
I
You
could put a
can't go
dating
wrong.
gube in there instantly, so I could do that.
Absolutely.
He's going to be
And then
thinking
it
about
just hit
this
it
all
in the
night.
app that you can just hit the dating group, and if people are open to dating, go through their profiles.
Later,
Good idea.
guys.
That's
Bye.
free.
Good
Thank
night,
you.
loyalty. Thank you.
Bye
Bye.
bye. Bye bye.
That's adorable.
Love her.
Okay, we'll put
That's
the
good.
best,
Good ideas in here.
the legend. We'll
The
put
legend.
the best. Okay, people are all of a sudden watching this live, and everyone's joining the app now. I want to show you who's live. We have an individual I'm going to call. I have someone in mind.
All right, let's check them out.
I was looking behind the scenes. Okay, so now all of a sudden you hit view more, and look, all these other folks jumped into the app. There's a lot more people live. Samara, Jose. Yeah, that's the thing with the app. Is like you could look down and
Who is Jose? I keep hearing things about Jose.
yeah, he's awesome. We're gonna give Jose a call. Ooh, $6.
Texas.
Well, here's his background before I
price,
call him. Real quick. Want to predict
For $6,
Profits.
I want a date out of this. Come on now.
it's got a cool Tesla that he's wrapped, but let's just give him a call. You guys do your thing.
He's a Tesla driver.
Hey, what can you do?
Look
That's
at
the
that.
Tech life.
I'm going off air though. The show's back to you guys.
Oh, where are you going, Jason?
This will be your last caller. Go.
Jose,
Hello.
are you there?
Hey, yeah, hey, how's it going?
It's going awesome. You were on the Owwll App podcast being streamed to every country that does not have IP banning to this sort of a podcast, as well as everyone that's listening. And I am joined by two amazing hosts, Domenica to my right, and then I have Adam to my left. So I'm going to just let them do some chit chat in here. Like, I'm going to let them ask you some questions because we want to know more about you and find out what you have to share. So, Domenica, why don't you ask them something?
I'm wondering, where is your last name from? Elizondo. Are you Hispanic?
I'm not Spaniard. It's Spaniard. Yes, I am from Mexico.
Ah, nice. Okay. Well, I'm from Ecuador, so that's why I was wondering.
Jose, pleasure to meet you. Or meet you, however you want to call it. But my question to you is, what sort of business are you in, and what is 2025 going to look like for you?
Okay, so what I do is I help people monetize their expertise with AI and automation.
AI.
I put together a bunch of SaaS tools that allow me to actually provide the lessons and the tools included so they could actually take action on what it is. And 2025 is definitely a lot of growth. We put an amazing support team, so we have 24/7 support. And this is allowing us to really scale up and expand the company.
That's amazing.
So
I mean, AI is the new wave, right? We're going into hype cycle right now, but when you can build out systems that automate, that help you grow,
Yep.
and that can reduce time being spent on a specific task and money being spent on a specific task, it can literally change your life and your business.
Well, Jose, what are
Totally agree.
some of the challenges you're seeing in your space going into 2025, and what are you proactively engaging in to mitigate those challenges or overcome them? It's like a 2-for-1 question.
A great one.
yeah, so the challenges have been more how to make it personal. So that I know doing that at scale is where you have to really bring in the human element. That's what we always want to do at Fastlane. It's there's so much noise out there. There's so much, everybody's screaming at the top of their lungs, AI and all these different things. And for me, it's like, no, you need to bring the human element. You need to make it personal. That's why we have live agents. We have everything. You have these amazing new AI tools like the voice AI that now allows your calls to be answered when you're sleeping. And it can answer questions. It could book appointments. It could do all this fun stuff. Even act as a coach. But bringing that personal touch, I think that's what kind of makes us stand apart too, when it comes to putting a system in place, because we really want to get add that culture element to a company.
Right.
When I was scaling businesses, I started first with physical businesses and construction, and then I went to the trucking industry, and to restaurants, and to different sites. I noticed that like around the $2-3 million dollar mark, whenever you try to go anything bigger than that, I would always hit this wall. It's
Yep.
kind of like you have to really include this point of, wait, what's the culture inside of the business? There's a really good book called Ready, Fire, Aim that shows you how to scale companies from each one of those levels. And if you start incorporating this at the very beginning, and an example would be when I helped the trucking company, we was able to track when the drivers are actually driving because they're on the clock, with their e-logs and stuff, that we're able to actually see if it's their birthday and they're driving. We'll send a special message to the owner of the company, and then he'd reach out with a video message,
Oh, nice.
showing the appreciation. Hey, I really appreciate you're out there working. I know it's your birthday, but it means a lot to us to be a part of the company. Here's a $100 gift card for you and your family when you get back, and just little personal touches like that.
That makes a world of difference.
It really
Yeah,
does.
details will either raise a ship
Yes.
and take it as far as it can potentially go, or sink it overnight.
It's going back to
pay
that
attention.
human aspect of things,
Yeah,
right?
right.
And I think
Oh,
that's so important because, like I said, we're entering a hype cycle of AI where everybody wants to automate everything and just throw things out there and see what sticks. But the people who are actually going to be successful are the people that think, hey, okay, I can automate all this and all these tools exist for my use, but it's not to replace me, but to enhance what I'm already doing.
Yep.
So I think what needs to happen, and we're going to get there, pretty soon, is that people realize you can't just take it and put it on automatic without having those human touch that you're like, you know what? It's not going to replace me, but what aspects of human psychology and building relationships can I add back to my business model so it's personalized and people feel a real connection and understanding to what I'm serving or the product that I'm producing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the human touch it's extremely vital, because especially if you're playing the long game.
Right.
Because people, no matter how far AI goes, yada yada, people will always do business with people first. You can have the greatest technology and say to yourself, I don't have to interact with people.
Yeah.
I can just do technology, and that'll last until someone else figures out an algorithm or a program better than yours and overtakes you. You maintain with people. My last industry was cosmetics, which was one of the most competitive industries on planet Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about humans. And I'll tell you, one move we used to do each year, which had the human touch, is we would handwrite Christmas cards, holiday cards to everyone in our database, whether you were doing business with us or not.
Game changer.
Oh, 100. We would get probably 15 new accounts after every holiday season, because we sent them a card when other people who were in our space did not send. Just these little details. Someone could go to their mailbox, have the worst day. They just got yelled at. Their car got rammed, and they're just like, oh, and then they pull out their mail and your holiday card is in there. You have to, here's the thing. This is the moral of this, is you have to set yourself up for opportunity and what's real. And when people are making excuses saying that doesn't matter, they're not going to care, they're not going to read it anyways, then guess what? You're already on the road to failure. When you find the reason to do the right thing that's going to put a smile on someone's face, now you're on the rocket ship to success.
One of the big things that I always noticed too, whenever I went and I'm like, hey, I'm an internet marketer, they're always like, no, we like what we're doing. I think that we have to look at it from a point, we have to look at it from a point of a blend. The personal note is a big part of it. And I kind of taken it to a step further where we're calling it adaptive marketing. So like I was actually putting a training when I just started redoing some Owwll calls, and I'm like, hey, we all need to come up with a better VSL. There's a video sales letter for our profile here. So I'm putting a training together that I'm going to be making available soon for everybody to actually really be able to bring that personal side of things, and what are the key steps inside of it. That way you're adapting to your market, to the people who is responding to everything that's doing. I've tested this a lot. One of the things that I love with some of the new automations is that you can have it. You could add logic into them, So based off of people-owned reactions, you can analyze sentiment, you can analyze
Wow.
different things, and really bring in a different part of that side.
Additional
So
look.
then you're like, hey, I know that they actually just went through something rough. I created a community, one called the Future Self, where we had everybody write their goals down. This is normally for the beginning of the year. This last year we did it. And they'll write their goals down. They'll write what they're willing to do or sacrifice to get it, because this was part of manifesting, and it'll auto-create a vision board for them. Well, every email got personalized based off of their own experiences. One person had a leg injury. We had AI readapt the email saying, hey, this is something you could do despite your leg injury. This is something you could do to do that. And then we added them to a community where they could share their wins. They could actually post some of their experiences, and everybody could kind of support each other. And I think community, adaptiveness, and just enhancing ourselves. That was a simple question I asked AI when I'm like, I heard they're like, oh, there's going to be all these job losses. And I'm like, okay, well, we're going to have to reskill everybody. So what if we make adaptive learning?
Right.
So let's do that. So I played with some things in AI, and I'm like, hey, we can make adaptive learning. We could actually, when I was growing up, I wasn't paying too much attention. I wanted to have fun at school. And I was getting bad grades in math. And one of my teachers was like, hey, you seem a little bit bright. We should stay after class. And it was kind of like explaining apples to apples and oranges to oranges. After that, it was super simple. I was like, that's what it is. That's the key. Let's use AI. Let's make us, superhuman, and being able to leverage it for our benefit.
100%. That's what AI is all about, just enhancing the human touch.
Fantastic. Well, listen, we're almost out of time here, Jose. The timer's counting down, and this phone is merciless. It's just going to cut it right off. So I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. We appreciate all the input. And there we're cut.
Love that.
He was amazing, though. I enjoyed that conversation.
Yeah, he was good. And just to finish that off, all the people that are worried about losing their jobs or AI replacing their jobs, you have to ask yourself, what is one quality that I can bring to the table that AI cannot replace? And that's always going to be some type of human characteristic that only humans can do.
Read a book.
Every time a job is canceled, a new job is created.
Here we go.
Just got to adapt, roll with it all. And then one question I didn't get to ask Jose, but you know what, we should be bringing onto this show, I think, because we're all part of the Owwll community here. We're all on there. We're all professionals. Everybody offers something of value. So let's just, we should just be asking some of these people, because I'm sure Jose's in this boat too. Everyone is. Like I said earlier, everyone needs help with something.
Right.
They do. And the challenge that a lot of people have out there with the networking is breaking down that trust barrier to get people to say what they need help with. But at the end of the day, listen, somebody walks through that front door and, knows what I need or something like that and says, I can do this, and I'm going to stand behind it. It's guaranteed. Here's my credit card. Let's go. There's no second thought. Game on. I'm on a game to grow, scale, build, and reach next levels. And if there's somebody who's right there in front of you that can get you there, money's never the issue. I always say that, because if somebody actually brings up money as a major issue, then I don't think that they're really dialed into what they're doing. Because if that person is sitting across from them or right there, that can get them across the line that they're trying to cross, they'll find the funds.
Absolutely.
You can get funds. You can find money for, put it this way. Have you ever gone off I-95 and you see people coming up to your car window? Those are individuals who are finding ways to make the money. Now, I'm not telling someone for your services, tell them to go out, but you know what I'm saying is, if it's important enough, they'll find a way.
Absolutely. I humbly believe that budget, more often than not, is never the issue. It is a byproduct of a much more significant underlying issue, right? But my three biggest takeaways from that last call are as follows. Number one, Jose's about to have a kick-ass 2025. I know that much. Number two, how he mentioned hitting that $5 million, $6 million year ceiling, that glass ceiling. That is the perfect example of what every business owner goes through at a certain point. And what got you from 0 to 1 will not get you from 1 to 100.
Right.
What you've been doing, and if you only keep doing that, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting. As cliche as it sounds, it's very true. Switch it up, learn a new skill, implement AI, become tech enabled, get out of your comfort zone, learn some new stuff. And thirdly, how you mentioned that when you were in the cosmetic space, you would write handwritten notes to your entire database, whether clients, customers, or not yet, right? This has amplification to it. If I was to open up my mailbox and I get a letter from you and I am not yet a customer, I would like to be treated this way as a customer. And on top of that, we as individuals have people that we care about, that we want to get treated just how we got treated, right? We want them to experience that as well. That's where referrals come in. Bazinga. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
I
Yes.
love that you said that, because you really just you just hit on a very important concept. You were already preemptively showing people
Mhm.
how you're going to treat them.
exactly.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. I love that. And it's always nice to go that extra mile for people,
Right.
even if it's just the smallest detail.
Yep.
Customers and people who are not even your customers will appreciate you going the extra mile, because I
Yep.
promise you, most business owners are not doing that. And we're switching from this corporate level, transactional way of doing business to more forming communities, building relationships.
Yep.
People want to do business with people they know and trust, and they want to do business with people they feel like they have a real connection with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You absolutely
Totally
nailed it.
true.
One last thing really quickly, to Domenica's point is, people don't buy products or services, they buy other people.
Correct.
Yes.
And so those letters that you write, that is literally the epitome of taking it back to the basics. Business owners and entrepreneurs oftentimes think, I need the newest flashy tool, the shiny thing here, this new software, this new that. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Go back to the basics, and a handwritten letter, not a text, not a phone call, a handwritten letter with a signature, with a PS note, that pulls on heartstrings. And
Yeah.
to your point, your competitors likely are not doing that because they're drowning in problems because they don't have bloom growth. But
Hear that, guys? Get yourself some bloom growth.
that's right. That's right. But
Bloom and grow.
that's it. But that is the simplest way, free way. It's a time investment, sure, but it's a free way to differentiate yourself from the competition.
Yeah.
And just to close, because we're at that time.
Wait, 1 second. I need you to tell people the story of whenever you drove to middle of nowhere, Florida for that customer that was going to cancel on you, and what you did with that.
This is gonna be good.
All right, I gotta be quick because we gotta end the show. So, all right, guys, I'll tell you the story. But before I tell you the story, let me prelude it like this: is like one thing that everybody's talking about here tonight. Okay, with handwritten letters, customer service, taking care of people. Here's the thing: it's going to be a chore for people if that's not in your character. Like there's a greater purpose to what we're talking about. Like on a path of personal growth, becoming your highest value self, becoming the best version of yourself, a true giver, a true member of society that adds value and is here to help. You're just going to do these things.
Yeah.
Why? Not because of what you're going to, you're not given just to get, you're giving because that's who you are. And then the
Yes,
world
yes.
naturally forms around
Right.
you. Your reality gets created from the character you've developed, the person you've become. Like when I started that last company, grew it and scaled it, it had nothing to, I can tell you stories about hustling door to door, but let's just face it, the reality of why we survived, and not just survived, but ultimately thrived, was because of our character, the character of the people in the company, of what the company represented. Everybody knew that we would try harder, we would work harder, we
Those
would
core
stop
values.
110%. And to Domenica's question, long story short is I had a client on the west coast of Florida, and I had noticed that, her store had not ordered in a while. They used to order every single week, and 3 weeks had gone by and there was no order. So we all know, like when we're dialed into what we do, you can feel it in your body. You just know when something's not right. You have no real tangible proof. It's not like there's a piece of paper in front of you, but you can feel it. Yeah, I just had a feeling. Normally, I won't jump onto a cell phone real fast unless I have a feeling, because, let's face it, you have a great relationship with your customer, you're doing everything right. Why are you going to, cut the chain if you don't have to and call them on the cell? Well, in this situation, I said, you know what, I think I think I got to figure out what's going on here. In fact, it wasn't even a thought. It was like, oh my God, they have not ordered in 3 weeks. Something is wrong. My market over there was super competitive. So I already knew without even having any proof who had slid in. Yeah, okay, we are. And with that said is, with all these suspicions and these feelings going through me, I said to myself, I'm like, all right, I'm going to give her a call. So I picked up the phone, called, she immediately answered.
Wow.
And I said, hey, what's going on? How's everything going? We did a little chit chat talk. And I said, I'm just going to cut right to the chase because I know you're super busy. I'm super busy too. And I'm going to ask, you haven't ordered in 3 weeks. That behavior is different. The pattern is broken over 2.5 years. Did my XYZ competitor come in? And she went silent.
That's a great question.
And I said to her, she goes, why would you ask that? And I said, listen, like I said, you're busy. I'm busy. I respect you too much to beat around the bush.
Yep.
And you know the kind of business we do together. You know who I am. What is it?
Yeah.
Did they move in? Yes or no? And she goes, yes. Like that, literally. And I go, okay, how much? Like, what was it? They're undercutting my price. What's going on? She goes, well, it's, and then started like skipping around things, but yeah, they undercut the price. And I said to her, I go, we're done over that amount. And she goes, well, you look at the business we do together, it does add up over a year. It gets pretty significant. I said, all right, hold that thought. And I said, I'm like, I have another call coming in. Let me think. I'm going to call you back. And she goes, well, no, we're going to go with them. And I'm like, I'll call you back. And I hung up the phone. I ran out to my car. I drove 4 hours to Tampa.
That's a long phone call.
Yeah, it is. And she probably thought I wasn't calling her back. I drove to Tampa and I get to her store right before it closes. Okay. And this isn't one of our biggest accounts. But still, they matter. Everyone matters.
Right.
And here's the thing. While we were doing business together, I got to know her family. I got to know her kids. I got to know her 2 chihuahuas. And honestly, there's a side of me, I'll be completely honest, which was feeling betrayed. Like I was being kicked out of, I was just like, it wasn't even about the business. It was about like, I genuinely had this person in my thoughts sometimes with positive energy, caring about them. Because again, when you carried our product, the way I train my salespeople is, this is family. We have to treat them like we treat family there, because without them, we don't exist. Right. You just need to, if you can't understand that, then you don't belong here. Unless they're there, unless they're willing to trust us, we can't exist. So I drove out there, I show up and I knock on the door and she opens up and she's like, Jeff? I smile and she goes, what are you doing out here? I go, showing you one thing. Let me ask you this. If the roles were reversed and we slid into our competitor's account and they called, do you think the owner of the company would drive 4 hours to tell you how much you mean to him?
Right.
And it went dead air and silent. And she said, Jeff, feel free to go in the store right now and pack up their product and put yours back on the shelf.
Beautiful.
And that was it. Rest is history. We took our relationship off the Richter scale. So when sometimes people just need to see what you're made of, they need to see your character. And here's the other side of that coin. And then again, this was not the intention. My brain was going way too fast to have any intentions in that moment. But the word got around because she was a big time member of the Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, beautiful.
So every hotel and resort that had a gift shop, every spa, my company name was being drifted out. Can you believe he drove 8 hours just to talk to me for 5 minutes?
I love it.
Yeah, but you know what? In my mind's eye, what other move was there?
Right.
I was not going to lose them over something that, to me wasn't right.
Absolutely.
You stick to, and I'll give you this last one is like, when we were having our products manufactured, I used to get hit up all the time from suppliers like plastic jar and bottle manufacturers trying to, offer me cheaper prices. Yeah, unless it was like 30-40% cheaper. I'm not, I'm sticking with the person that every time I text, call, send an email, They get back to me like that.
Yeah.
They maintain a continuous supply stock of what I need. So I never have to worry about running out of product.
That's beautiful. And one thing that I really admire about that is when you did get on the phone, you shot it straight, right? You ripped that Band-Aid off. Did someone else move in? And then how you mentioned that she was hesitant. Yeah, well, because she didn't want to hurt your feelings. So there still was that,
Yes.
heart attachment there, because we don't want to, break our vendors' hearts or anything like that either,
Right.
right? But at the end of the day, it's business as usual. And the fact that you got to meet the Chihuahuas, that's impressive.
Come on.
impressive.
It's like to think that they were going to be out of my life.
Right.
I'm getting emotional just telling this
I
story.
love it. I love
I
it.
got to go back to Tampa and see my Chihuahuas. All right, guys. Well, we have to wrap this up here. This has been absolutely amazing. And this is one of the reasons you want to tune in to this show every time we host it. It's generally every other Monday because on one hand, you get the serious side. 2, you get the podcast side. 3, you get the calls. 4, you get the jokes. Then you get back to serious. And every once in a while, this guy, Jason, the founder, the originator, he pops on. He shares his 2 cents. So I'm going to leave you with this. First, thank you both, as always. Well, this is my co-host. She's always here. He took time out of his day to come here and share his wisdom knowledge.
It was an absolute pleasure
with all of you. So hopefully you reach out to him on the Owwll app. Listen, if you're a business of any kind and you don't have an operating system to run it, and if you still don't understand what it is, just give him a call. I'm sure he'll explain it to you.
Happy to
But
help.
I can tell you right now, you need it. I used to use one of them. They're going to save you so much trouble. And for anyone that doesn't have the Owwll app, download it. Just do it. Do it right now. The Apple Play Store. That's what we're calling it. And the Google. What is the Google?
Play Store.
Oh, it is the Google Play? Whatever. All right. You know how to get your apps on your phone. So you just go, I'm going to use my Netscape browser.
There you go.
I didn't just date myself.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Ciao. That was